February 19, 1943, Kasserine Pass, Tunisia. Just before dawn, the desert is cold enough to sting your lungs. A pale wind slides through the mountain gap, carrying sand, diesel smoke, and fear. American soldiers crouch behind half-dug foxholes, boots numb, rifles damp with frost. Somewhere ahead, engines growl in the darkness, not friendly ones, German ones. Then it starts. Artillery flashes rip across the horizon. The ground jumps. Steel screams overhead. A Sherman tank shudders as an 88mm shell punches through its side like paper. Flames bloom orange against the blue-black morning. Men dive. Radios crackle. Someone is already shouting for medics before the sun even rises. You can almost feel it, the shock of a young army meeting a veteran enemy for the first time. This is the U.S. Army's first real test against Hitler's elite in North Africa. And in these first seconds, the test is going badly. The German commander is Field Marshal Erwin Rommel, the Desert Fox. His Panzer division surge forward with surgical precision. They don't rush. They flow. Tanks roll like steel predators through the narrow pass while infantry fan out, cutting American positions apart. The Americans try to respond, but nothing fits. Orders collide. Units freeze. Artillery fires blind. Some officers argue. Others vanish. Radios die in the dust. A lieutenant screams for armor support that no longer exists. A captain watches his flank collapse and realizes no one is coming to fill it. Within hours, the line fractures. Men retreat not because they are cowards, but because the battlefield has turned into a maze of smoke, broken commands, and sudden death. Trucks clog the passes. Tanks reverse into each other. Engineers abandon bridges half built. German shells follow them like hunters scenting blood. By midday, Kasserine Pass belongs to Rommel, and the American army, proud, new, confident just weeks earlier, is humiliated. In Washington, alarms ring. In North Africa, generals whisper. In the dust of Tunisia, one truth spreads faster than bullets. The U.S. Army is not ready for Hitler's war. Survivors stumble back from the pass, faces gray with exhaustion. Some haven't slept in 3 days, some haven't eaten. Many haven't fired their weapons correctly because no one taught them how under real fire. They expected training battles. They got slaughter. One sergeant later writes, "We didn't lose because the Germans were stronger. We lost because we didn't know who we were supposed to be." At Allied headquarters, the mood is poisonous. British officers shake their heads quietly. They've been fighting Germans for years. They know what this defeat means. If the Americans cannot stand, the entire North African campaign could collapse. Maps are unrolled. Fingers stab at broken positions. Voices rise. Someone finally says what everyone fears. Rommel nearly cut us in half. Then the name starts circulating, not softly, not politely, but urgently. George Smith Patton Jr. Patton is not at Kasserine when disaster strikes. He's in Morocco, restless, already frustrated by what he calls soft soldiering. He hears rumors before he gets orders. Stories of retreat, of abandoned guns, of officers who lost control. When the official report arrives, Patton reads it in silence. Then he stands. He doesn't shout. He doesn't curse. He simply says, "I'm going." Within days, he is appointed commander of the 2nd Corps, the same shattered formation that just ran from Rommel. Patton lands in Tunisia like a thunderclap. The airfield is muddy. Planes idle. Soldiers linger. Helmets unbuckled. Hands in pockets. It looks like a camp, not an army. Patton steps onto the ground in polished boots, ivory-handled pistols on his hips, helmet shining under desert sun. He scans the scene like a predator entering someone else's territory. And immediately, he explodes. He orders helmets strapped, shirts tucked, weapons cleaned, salutes enforced, guards doubled, vehicles aligned. No more wandering. No more excuses. A private gets caught without his helmet. Patton stops the jeep. He stares and says, cold as steel, "Son, if you don't wear your helmet, you won't need a headstone." Word spreads in minutes. Patton is here, and Patton is different. Where other commanders ask, Patton commands. Where others debate, Patton decides. Where others tolerate confusion, Patton hunts it down. He walks through camps at night, inspects kitchens, checks ammunition, times sentries. He fires officers on the spot, promotes men who look him in the eye, forces units to drill under lev fire. Some soldiers hate him instantly. Others feel something else growing inside them. Pride. Patton gathers the corps and speaks without notes. He doesn't promise safety. He promises victory. He tells them, "You are not here to die for your country. You are here to make the other bastard die for his." The words hit harder than artillery. Men who fled days earlier now stand straighter. Fear doesn't vanish, but it sharpens. Still, discipline alone won't stop Rommel. Patton knows something deeper is broken. Confidence. At Kasserine, the Americans didn't just lose ground. They lost belief. Belief in leadership. Belief in tactics. Belief in themselves. And now Rommel is watching. The Desert Fox believes the Americans are finished. He prepares his next strike. Patton prepares something else. Not defense, not retreat, but transformation. Because Patton is about to do what no one expects. He is about to take a defeated army and force it to hunt the enemy instead of hiding from him. And as the desert sun sets over Tunisia, engines begin to move again, not backward this time, but forward, toward Rommel, toward redemption, toward a battle that will decide whether Patton's fury can actually turn defeat into victory. And the Germans have no idea what kind of war they're about to meet. The desert doesn't care about reputation. It doesn't care that George S. Patton wears polished boots or ivory-handled pistols. It doesn't care that he talks about destiny and bloodlines. Tunisia only cares about one thing now, whether this broken American army can survive the next the next hammer blow, and that blow is coming fast. Patton knows it. So he doesn't waste time inspiring men with speeches alone. He rebuilds them with pressure. Every morning begins before sunrise. Trucks grind awake in freezing dark. Engines cough. Men stumble from tents, pulling on boots still stiff with sand. Patton wants movement, constant movement. No lounging, no waiting, no slow thinking. He orders live fire drills close to the front. Real bullets. Real explosions. Soldiers crawl while machine guns crack inches overhead. Dust coats their teeth. Hearts hammer. Fear becomes familiar instead of paralyzing. Better scared here than dead out there, Patton says. He changes how officers lead. No more hiding behind radios. Commanders go forward. They see the battlefield. They smell it. They bleed with their men. Patton fires generals who won't move and promotes captains who do. One colonel complains that Patton is pushing the troops too hard. Patton stares at him and replies, "Hard is what keeps you alive, but discipline is only half the war. The other half is speed." At Kasserine, American units waited for orders that never came. Rommel exploited every pause, every hesitation, every broken link in command. Patton rips that system apart. He decentralizes. Battalion commanders get freedom to move. Tank units train to exploit gaps instantly instead of asking permission. Artillery learns to fire faster, closer, deadlier. He drills one lesson into every mind. When you see opportunity, attack. Not later. Not tomorrow. Now. Meanwhile, Rommel is already maneuvering. The Desert Fox isn't impressed by American recovery efforts. To him, the U.S. Army is still inexperienced, slow, and vulnerable. He plans another strike, this time at a place called Guettar. It's a narrow valley east of the Atlas Mountains, rocky ridges, dry riverbeds, a natural funnel, perfect for tanks. German panzer divisions move quietly into position. Their commanders believe they'll repeat Kasserine, break through, roll the Americans, and reopen the road to the coast. But something is different now. Patton has been waiting for this. Instead of spreading thin, he anchors his defense in depth. Mines are buried in thousands. Anti-tank guns are hidden behind slopes. Infantry digs in not to hide, but to trap. And Patton doesn't sit in the rear. He moves forward. He watches. He listens to the guns. March 23, 1943. Guettar. Early morning. Fog hangs low across the valley floor. The air smells of oil and cold stone. Somewhere ahead, German engines begin to growl. Then they appear, dark silhouettes. Panzer III and IV tanks pushing through mist like armored ghosts. Tracks grind. Turrets scan. Infantry follows tight behind. The Germans expect panic. They get silence. The first Panzer hits a mine. The explosion snaps the morning apart. Steel flips. Fire blooms. Another tank slams into a second mine. Then a third. Now the valley wakes up. American artillery roars. Shells crash into German columns. Anti-tank guns open from hidden ridges. Armor-piercing rounds slam into steel hulls with violent sparks. A panzer commander screams for maneuver space. There is none. Patton's trap closes. Infantry fires from trenches. Bazookas crack. Smoke swallows the valley. German formations bunch up. Exactly what Patton wanted. They can't spread. They can't flank. They can only push forward into fire. For hours the battle churns. German tanks burn across the rocks like funeral torches. Crews bail out on fire. Medics drag screaming men into dry riverbeds. Radio operators shout over exploding airwaves. The Americans don't run. They hold. And then they counter. Tank destroyers surge forward. Sherman's advance firing on the move. Infantry leaps from cover and pushes through shattered panzer lines. This is not Kasserine. This is Patton's army. By noon, the Germans begin to withdraw. Not retreat, withdraw. Because for the first time in North Africa, the U.S. Army has stopped Rommel cold. Over 30 German tanks are destroyed at Guettar. The valley belongs to Patton. Word spreads fast. British officers who once doubted now watch in silence. American soldiers walk among wrecked panzers touching burned steel, realizing something unbelievable. They didn't just survive the Germans. They beat them. Patton rides forward in his jeep, dust coating his helmet. He surveys the field, black smoke curling upward, shattered tracks, abandoned helmets, blood in the sand. A staff officer asks, "Sir, did we really stop them?" Patton doesn't smile. He answers quietly, "We reminded them who they're fighting." But Patton knows Guettar is only the beginning. Rommel is wounded, not defeated. The Desert Fox still commands veteran divisions. He still knows the terrain. And now he knows something new. The Americans are no longer afraid, which means the next battle won't be cautious, it will be personal. Because Patton hasn't come to hold ground. He has come to chase the enemy. And across Tunisia, German units are already regrouping for a final stand that could decide the fate of North Africa itself. Patton turns toward his staff, points east, and says, "Now we go after them. What happens next will push Patton's army past defense and into the most dangerous phase of war, relentless pursuit."